So we're going to talk about the case of Brian Walshe, who is right now on trial for the murder of his wife, Anna Walshe. This is a Massachusetts case. Now, I remember this case for two reasons. Number one, Anna's body has never been found. See, that's a picture of her right there in happier times. Her body has never been found. But here's the strange part about this case, you guys. Her husband, even though he's on trial for her murder, has pled guilty to dismembering her body, tampering, whatever they call it in Massachusetts. He's pled guilty to that, which is an acknowledgement, obviously, that he knows she's dead. But he is claiming, and this is wild, and I don't know how his defense attorney stated this in opening statement with a straight face. His argument is this: listen, we had a great marriage. Yeah, she had an affair. I was okay with it. I mean, there was no reason to kill her. In fact, the night that she died, we were having a great time. I crawled into bed expecting to, get a little cozy, and all of a sudden, she was cold. And wouldn't you know it, there's this thing called sudden unknown death. And that's what happened to her. So instead of calling 911 like a loving husband, I just decided to cut her up and get rid of her body, not tell anyone where any of the body parts are. And then I was going to admit to that part. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my client is innocent. Mark, could you, and I know you're good, could you even float that kind of defense?
I would have to, because that's what my client is telling me to say. And the evidence is overwhelming. It actually is the best defense, but one that will not work, one that defies logic. I would feel intellectually dishonest with the jury, but I'm sure they're saying that because the evidence is lacking as to maybe how she died and, is it first degree, second degree, manslaughter? Maybe that's the strong suit here. And clearly there's consciousness of guilt by him chopping up the body. There's no question, but maybe they're lacking. They're lacking in that area of proving exactly what happened. How did that murder go down? And that's what they're going to press on.
Dave, can I tell you why from the get-go, I knew this guy was guilty. I'll tell you why. And you tell me if you agree. Because when they were looking for her body, right, they knew she was missing. She kind of like a high-powered real estate agent, and her boss or her business was like, we haven't seen her in 4 days. One of the first things they found that belonged to her, abandoned, was her Prada purse.
Look how you go there. You're
Dave,
adorable. You are adorable. Look, you do
would
not.
have to,
listen to her. Go. Yes.
You would
tell
have
me about
to
the Prada.
pry my Prada out of my cold dead hands.
Yes.
It's not going to end up in a landfill. That's how I knew there was.
That's my Jonna. There we go. Yes.
Dave,
well,
that's good.
Jonna,
man.
It's a great point. And Mark, if God forbid you woke up next to your spouse who had died the previous night, and what would you do? What would be your first step?
Well, it wouldn't be to chop her up. Let's just start with that.
That's exactly.
That would not be at the top of the list. No.
I suspect
that's
at
good.
the top.
That's good.
I suspect that if you woke up next to a spouse who didn't wake up the next morning, the first instinct would not be, well, I need to hack up the body parts. And let's,
good point.
Right, and let's call to try to find out the insurance policies. And then let's clean up the basement of all the blood. And, how about those internet searches after all those? And John, I know you have access to some of these internet searches.
We got to read those.
We got to read them.
Come on.
But this guy is so guilty. And the fact that they decided this new defense and said, yes, he did hide the body. Yes, he did hack up the body parts. Shows how desperate they are. They knew the state had the goods against them. This is the best they could do. But any rational juror is going to look at this and say, "Are you serious, man?" Guilty.
And then in conjunction with, hey Google, how long does it take for a body to start smelling? During decomposition? Go.
Guys, gather round. We'll go through some of his searches because he's not the smartest murderer in the book. Okay.
No.
How long someone has to go missing before you can inherit their assets?
Ding, 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 ding. Sounds like an innocent guy.
That alone is problematic. Yeah.
How long someone has to be missing before they are declared dead?
Oh.
Can you throw away body parts? Google loves answering that. How long does DNA last? Is it possible to clean DNA off a knife? Here's my favorite. How long before a body starts to smell? And Hacksaw, best tool to dismember. Guys, you know, let
That
me
is
say
so
something.
damning. I would argue, there's no way he did that. Somebody manufactured that evidence because it's so damn good, you know?
Well, I don't know if you guys remember, there was some good evidence. It actually, I think, favored the defendant. Remember the Karen Reed trial? It was not that long ago. It feels like it
Right.
was a while
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
There was some good Google evidence that helped her. This definitely does not help him. And I don't know why people don't realize at this point in time that whatever you Google, anything, you could anything, it's going to come back to haunt you at some point if somebody wants to
There's
find it. But can
there's
I just
something
say,
called incognito mode on Google. You should learn to use it.
it doesn't. I don't even think that works. But I will say this. So let's say you crawl into bed with your significant other and that person is no longer alive. And maybe, I mean, it has happened. People can have a heart attack, whatever, brain tumor, whatever. I would, or would you not? Would you agree that for a split second, because we're attorneys, we might say, dang, somebody's going to think I did this, right?
Yes.
I would
Okay.
think that.
That's fair. That's fair. Keep going.
Mhm. So
Yeah,
then
and
what
then what's your next step? That's
So
fair.
my-
You ain't getting a hacksaw, baby. Don't,
No.
there's a big leap before we get the hacksaw. Keep
I'm
going.
not getting a hacksaw. I'm not going to call a goon to put the body in the trunk and drive it away. My very
Right.
next move, because we're normal people,
Right.
would be to call 911 and or try to resuscitate, then call 911, or try to do them
Right.
both at the same time.
All right, let's make the argument. You just helped the defense a little bit, right?
How?
Because let's get into his history. He's not a lawyer, but he is
He's a
someone with a
criminal.
checkered past. He is a criminal.
you.
He sold a fake Andy Warhol painting to some guy who claims he was so credible and believable. He played the role perfectly. So here's a guy who's in the system. He knows that law enforcement will especially think that he was up to no good. When his sweet, innocent wife just happened to die, they're going to immediately think it was him. Don't kill the messenger. I'm just making the argument.
I
right?
get you.
Right? Are you with me?
Yep.
So he, like us lawyers who know they're going to come after him, he knows that they're going to come after him. The guy's on probation. He's like, it's a much lower standard to prove the case. They're going to strip me of my liberty. I'm going to be taken away. So yes, that's why I pled guilty to dismembering the body, because I did that. It was a poor mistake, but I didn't kill her.
Mark, you are good. And we'll save the fact, I don't know how anybody could physically dismember any body, let alone a body of belonging to the person that they love. Like you got to be, anyway, you got to be
Not
watching.
easy. I had a client who couldn't do it. He tried and said, screw it. And he just threw the whole thing away. Horrible.